Caitlin Clark had, well, look, she had herself a good game, but more than anything had just this 38 seconds of pure basketball ecstasy, right? Where she's coming down hitting logo three after logo three. And, most of the sports world has been put on notice because of it. And it's sparked a good conversation because now we have tangible proof of what the American sports viewer thinks of the WNBA without Caitlin Clark. Keep in mind that in her first game back from injury, she has 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. She's 7 of 14 from three-point range. And, yeah, she did have 7 turnovers. She was not perfect. She was a +5. Her team won by, was it 14 points, I think? 14 points. But it sparked a bigger conversation because the ratings were less than half of what they are with her when she was out. Here's Caitlin Clark talking about that 38 seconds that she had late in the first quarter that broke the internet.
I took one in transition. That's kind of like where I like to get to early, and it's always good to see the ball go through the hoop. And then I came down and shot another one. Then I came down and shot another one and saw 3 in a row go in. So that gives you a lot of confidence.
Here's her head coach, former point guard in her own right, Stephanie White, talking about having Clark back.
Well, don't we always expect that kind of game from Caitlin? I knew her adrenaline was going to be high to start. I mean, she's been itching to get back out there. She carried us in the first half, and then everybody else carried us in the second half. And I thought her decision-making was great, outstanding, especially that last 4-minute stretch or whatever it was that she was on the floor. Did a really good job of getting everybody involved, and that's what she does.
Yeah, that is what she does. That is what she does. Okay, so there's a woman named Rachel Demita. Rachel, I believe she's a former basketball player. She's like an influencer. She played at Old Dominion. Didn't play with Old Dominion, the band I like. Played at Old Dominion, which is a school. I think they're in the Colonial. I don't know. Anyway, her husband is Andre Robertson, who's formerly played for the Thunder, had a bad knee injury, then played overseas. So she's an influencer. She had a podcast. She has a podcast, and I think she labels herself as a WNBA reporter. I think with CBS Sports. I'm not sure. Anyway, here's Rachel Demita trying to explain from her perspective while there were drops while Caitlin Clark was out.
I hope you guys don't mind, but the news was just announced that WNBA TV ratings are down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark's injury. And it was also reported that the Indiana Fever television viewership is also down over 53%. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her fans.
I mean, that's kind of a new one to me. Had anybody heard about that previously? I mean, usually when you do a boycott, and it picks up steam and it affects ratings this greatly, one would think that boycott would be one that we knew about, heard about, right? That's what people, anybody I think reasonably would think. But Rachel Demita acting like, well, that's the reason the ratings are down. No, we like watching her play. Period. We don't like or relate to or have a desire to watch most anybody else play. The ratings that are left, that's your classic WNBA core base that has been there probably for 25 years and has grown in incremental pieces over time. But the 50% that you lost, that's the Caitlin Clark effect, period, stop. And until you just go, okay, start there, until you start at that very point to where you realize, okay, 50% of the people are only watching to see basically what she did Saturday, then you can properly market what you have as a sports league. And it's fascinating. I'm a basketball guy. I played high school basketball. I played college basketball. I played professional basketball. I've covered it. I now coach it. It's very much part of who I am as a person. Hey, my dad was a high school coach, became college coach, became AAU coach, travel ball coach, and mentor to so many. And I would just tell you that, like, when you grow up in a basketball family, the WNBA has struggled for a long time, but I don't know how many times we have to say this. People only care about Caitlin. And the thing that I find to be, when I watch the game, when I watch how she walks, how she carries herself, is this year is what we hoped she would be last year. Right? And I would also tell you that I think the best thing that happened to her is, one, not getting selected to the Olympic team last year, and probably getting injured this year. Because what she has to deal with, and when I say deal with, maybe that's not the right term, what she endures on a daily basis, I don't care about the constant scrutiny. It's just a lot of attention. And she went from playing college ball to playing the WNBA and probably needed a break and needed to recalibrate her game. And now that she's recalibrated her game and it fits a little bit more the WNBA model, last year she was square peg, round hole. This year it's round peg, round hole. And she's different. She's dominant. She's taken another step. The most improvement you make in college is freshman to sophomore year off season. The most improvement you make as a professional is between your first and your second year, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how to train. You don't know how you travel. You don't know how you eat. You don't know how your teammate's going to treat you, how the refs are going to treat you, how the opponent's going to treat you. And then in year two, you know all these things. They become easier, and then you become the better because of it. I mean this when I say this. Like, Caitlin Clark was one of those, she had otherworldly talent, and she had what the kids call aura last year. And there was some substance, but it was a lot of, she's going to be great. She's not great yet, but she's going to be great. Now she's great. Now she's great. Shooting percentages, confidence, knowledge of where to get on the court, how to get herself out of trouble, not get herself into foul trouble, how to communicate with teammates, and honestly, for the Fever, what coach to put around her, what players to put around her. It's all going to be better in year two, because year one, you just don't know what you don't know. You know? All right, it's Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. Oh, go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to just add something, because I'm curious on your thoughts about this. I think it was the most important WNBA game she's played in her career. And the reason I say that is a lot of what you said is this leap from year one to year two in what she's done, and you now know what you didn't know previously. And it was one of the questions that I had about the Caitlin Clark phenomenon on, would this rise continue? Would the league be able to catch up at all? And obviously they haven't. But to be able to come in, make a viral moment in a 90-second span upon her return against the defending WNBA champions who were unbeaten to that point. Like, there will be games later on in her career that she plays and playoff games that will be more important. But I think to this point, this was the most important game that she played in her career because of everything you kind of laid out in the first 11 minutes.
Sure. I'm okay with that. Most important in WNBA career, like, it sounds a little strong when it comes out of your mouth, and then you go back and you track it, and you're like, I'll buy that. I mean, I think there was a little bit when they came off the Olympic break too. I thought that was important, but I don't know if there was one individual game that was as big as this, right? And then again, like, if you're a hater, a naysayer, and she doesn't play well, or she doesn't play after going to several of the Pacers finals games, like, oh, well, she's good enough to go to but she's not good enough to play, and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I think when I initially heard you say that, it sounded like hyperbole. And then when you supported it, I started to think about it. I don't think you're wrong.
And there will be bigger games, but up to this point, yeah.
Right. You're just talking to this point, up until this point.